The family at Xpress Boats has always strived to be the best. And now they're trying to help their customers be even better at what they do. And that's what I think is so cool about this new series called Xpress Outdoors, is the fact that it relates to X's and O's. And how can you strategize to be the best you can be when you're out on the water enjoying the outdoor experience. Whether we're on Kentucky Lake or down in South Louisiana here at Grosse Savanne, or even in Arkansas chasing mallards in the timber, join us for the Xpress Outdoors experience. Final day of the trifecta here at Grosse Savanne. We've done the alligators, we did bass fishing, we did red fishing, and this morning is opening day of teal season. And we're already 20 minutes into it and it's been phenomenal.
As thick as the mosquitoes are, the teal are thicker.
You know, and here we are, the duck count just came out. It's the second lowest ever in the history of doing a duck count here, and you wouldn't know it by
They didn't count here.
Yeah,
it's obvious.
Get down, we're gonna get this one right here. So one of the things, Mark, when we talk about blind placement, you know, my first rule of thumb when we analyze the areas where we're going to set up, and what we do for teal season, we don't typically hunt our permanent blinds. I just feel for teal season that we prepare so many spots that we do those away from our normal blinds, not to mess with the vegetation. We don't knock grass down. So we're actually in a little wood frame that we've got built that we move these around every year.
Which is perfect, hides us.
Yeah, and then when teal season's over, these things get jerked out, and then we get prepared for big duck season in our pit blinds that we typically hunt. So, but to me, the first rule of thumb is always put the sun to your back.
Absolutely.
And you know, the sun's coming up right now, and you can see the glare. We weren't able to put it to our back the way this is set up, but the next best thing, we had the option of either going north or going south and facing it. And so in Louisiana, this time of the year, typically we have a south wind. So that's why we face the blind to the north.
So get that wind behind us.
Yeah, and that way the birds will swing around and they always come into the wind, and that puts them in your face at the decoys right there where they rear up. Unfortunately, this morning it is dead calm, and it's showing with the birds decoying because we're not really getting them to line up like we like. And but we're still having a good time, and we got two bunches of decoys set up with a little hole in the middle, and seems to be working. And we keep getting interrupted while we're talking. There's three right there.
You know, they say that the wind is your friend in fishing. Well, it is in hunting too. When you use it.
Well, everything in outdoors, you know, deer hunting, wind is everything.
You want the wind in your face when you're deer hunting.
The first thing that you need to do before you go hunting or fishing, whatever it is, the day before, is turn the weather channel on, see what the wind prediction is, because that depends on everything how you're going to set up.
It's so important to pay attention to what Mother Nature's doing.
Well, you know, and we're talking about the sun again. It's a prime example. That sun just peaked over the horizon. And if you turn and shoot out the east end of the blind, you can't see right now. I'm just seeing spots trying to look at you. So that's why if we'd have faced this blind to the east, which is where the birds are coming from, we'd be looking at black spots all morning and wouldn't be able to shoot good. So the next best thing is to rotate this thing around and face it north.
Well, it's not only so we can see, but it helps them where they can't see us.
Absolutely, because you're in a shadow too, you know. So if you're facing the sun, whenever anybody pokes their head up, your face is shining, and that's just a big red flag for a duck to appear. One of the cool things about teal hunting is that those birds still respond to the call really well. Teal always work good. And
does that hold true throughout the whole season, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can always work a big group of teal, and I like to, you know, everybody's got a preference on calls, and a teal doesn't do a traditional quack like, you know, like a mallard does.
Like a peep, isn't it?
It's a little, well, the green wings will do a peep or a whistle, but the blue wings do a little kind of a cadence but it's real raspy.
Look like a raspy cackle of sorts.
And I use it. I've got a little Haydale call that I don't even, tell you the truth, don't even know what the numbers are on it because they're all wore off at the moment, but it's real raspy, you know, it doesn't sound like a traditional quack, and they really respond to it. And you can read a duck when he's coming in if he wants to work or not. And you know, when they blow by here, you can call at them, but a lot of times it doesn't work. But you see a couple of ducks just kind of feel on, they kind of float in here like that, and they're going over there, and when you give them that real excited, that bang, 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 boy, and you see them bang, man, that's just gratifying to see them work like that.
And once again, that's going back to it's watching what they're doing, understanding.
Yeah.
You can a lot of times.
Speaking of watching what they're doing, look, there's 5 right there.
Way behind you.
You know, Mark, one of the great things about Grosse Savanne is with the amount of acreage that we have, we've got kind of best of both worlds for hunting. We got both marsh, and then we got a lot of agricultural fields, which rice is our #1 crop here. And we're actually hunting this morning in a rice field that was used the following year as a crawfish pond. We produce a lot of crawfish in southwest Louisiana, and this thing here, it was planted in rice last year, and then the stubbles reflooded up and crawfished it all year, probably up until about June. And they're about to let the water go and to come back in here and plow it and get it ready for next year's rice. But this thing's been flooded basically for almost 2 years. And when you do that, you start getting a lot of hydrophytic vegetation coming up. And you look, we got some little duck potato and a bunch of grasses. And so those teal just love that.
They love it.
Vegetation. So it's kind of different. We typically either hunt the marsh or the rice, but in this case, we're hunting a crawfish pond this morning. It's not the ideal location that I like to pick, but it was the X. And
you got to be where they are.
you know, when we drove around trying to find a place to set up, there were so many birds here, we just couldn't pass up setting blind up right here.
You know, and there's a lot of people that don't understand what the X is. There are that do, but explain what the X is.
Well, you know, you can do everything in your power and all the skills and techniques and tricks that we know as hunters, from decoys to calling, but if you really want to have a great hunt, you got to be where they want to be. And scouting, if it's an option, I know that's not an option for a lot of people, but when you go to a piece of property and ride around and you kind of observe and see where they're going, if you can get set up in that spot, then you know you're going to be in the money, and that really helps if it's a possibility.
When you're there where they want to be,
Yeah,
it can be epic.
You saw this morning, as soon as the sky started lighting up, they was bombing this thing. Now, we had a big flurry this morning. It's kind of slowed down, but I think we're going to get another wave trickle back like these two right here. Watch this. So one of the things here at Grosse Savanne is we move a lot. We try to find that X on the property, and so with that being said, we're not always hunting a permanent blind every day. So when we're moving, we like to pick up our decoys every day. And so one of the great things that really helps us up picking up decoys is having a decoy rigging that's easy to use. And as you can see today, we always use tangle-free decoys. But we've got 400-pound mono that when I pick this decoy up, we got a loop that we've crimped here that slides through that with the weight. And you just grab that and put it in your clip and move to the next one. And we just keep rolling, and if you look down here, this is a prime example, you can see the string floating, and there's my loop. As I just grab that loop, clip it in the carabiner, go to the next one. Just keep moving. In the olden days, we used to do twine and wrap it around the neck, and it takes forever and it gets tangled up. And when you got these things rigged up like this, you get 2 guys out in the pond, you can pick up a whole spread of decoys in just a matter of minutes and move to the next spot.
Shooting text. Now, Doug, you're kind of going a little old school this morning, aren't you?
What you mean?
Well, that's a little bitty tube hanging out the blind.
Yeah, a few years back, I just, you know, we shoot so many teal and we shoot them real close that I actually went back to shooting a 410 for teal season, and I really like it. I think it's sporting, and it's really cool to watch them crunch whenever you hit them with this little gun, you know.
Well, and most everybody that started with a shotgun probably started with a 410.
That's exactly what I did, you know. The old 410 single barrel. I had the stock cut off real short, and had a great time with it.
They're easy to shoot, not a lot of kick. It's easy to teach a child with them.
At one time, it was hard to find steel shot or non-toxic shot for them, but now, you know, it's pretty easy available, and they make steel shot, and this is actually an automatic. So I got 3 shots. So when they decoying this close, you know, we're shooting not even 20 yards this morning. That's just to me, it makes it more sporting. And it's been known I've shot a few speckle bellies with it too, you know. So don't underestimate the power of a 410. You just got to put it on.
Yeah, it still lays a whopping on them when it hits them.
And you can tell though, I'm rusty this morning because I've done my share of missing. So don't think I'm knocking every one of them down.
I've noticed that.
We've all missed.
I've noticed that I'm doing the same also.
We've all missed quite a bit this morning. We're sitting there, the sun's just now breaking over the horizon, so we've been at it about 30 minutes now. Well, we're certainly glad that you was able to come, and you do a great job of representing Lou, Strike King, and Hunter Specialties, and we just couldn't ask for any better. You know, we set out to do what we call the trifecta, but then we threw a little redfish in the mix and turned it into a quadfecta, I guess.
Pulled out the quad.
Yeah, we got our limited teal here this morning at Grosse Savanne, and we actually had a couple of little interesting things too. We was able to get you to visit with a longtime friend of Grosse Savanne, Ted Johannan.
Well, what an experience that was. That may have been just that in itself been worth the trip.
Guy's got over 60 years of experience in wildlife management with alligators and ducks, just a wealth of information, and hopefully you guys will get to hear some of that on one of the Beyond the Boat series. So really cool weekend, man. Glad to have you here, and couldn't have picked a better time. We had some predictions of possible rain the whole weekend, but we never got wet.
It's been beautiful the whole weekend.
It was awesome. Yeah,
nice breeze. It has not been unbearably hot. It's just been a perfect weekend. Well, I can't thank you enough for having me down. I appreciate the invite. And
well, I can't think.
Hope to get to do it again sometime.
I can't think of a better person to do a quadfecta at Grosse Savanne with. So glad you can come. Hope you have a safe trip home.
Well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate it.
Good seeing you.
Good to see you too.